All right, let's talk about a concept that can literally make or break a business: brand positioning. It's the secret sauce that turns a regular product into a household name. It's the difference between being just another choice on the shelf and being the only choice in your customer's mind. So, let's dive in.
Think about this for a second. Have you ever noticed how some brand names just become the thing? You don't just search online. You Google it. You don't ask for a tissue. You ask for a Kleenex. Now, that does not happen by accident. No way. It's the end result of some seriously smart, deliberate brand positioning.
I mean, we are just drowning in options these days, right? For every single thing you want to buy, there's a huge sea of competitors all screaming for your attention. So the big question is, how on earth do you rise above all that noise? How do you become the brand that people not only remember, but actually go out of their way to find?
Well, it's definitely not about luck. It's all about strategy. It's a super intentional process called brand positioning, and it's all about carving out and claiming a specific piece of real estate in your customer's mind, a space that you, and only you, truly own.
So what does it really mean to position a brand? It's way more than a tagline. It's about crafting a very specific story and actively shaping how people perceive you. Let's break down the official definition to get a really clear picture of what we're working with here. Okay, so what that really means is you're creating a mental shortcut for your customers. It's that one single core idea they instantly connect with your brand that nobody else can claim. It's less about the what your product does, and it's so much more about the why it matters to them personally.
Okay, now this is where things can get a little fuzzy for a lot of people. You hear these terms thrown around: value proposition, differentiation, positioning. They all sound kind of the same, don't they? But they are absolutely distinct, critical concepts. And trust me, knowing the difference is the key to getting it right. So let's start at the top with value proposition. Think of this as your 30,000-foot view. It's the big, overarching promise you make to your customers. You know, a brand like IKEA, their value proposition is pretty clear: bringing affordable, stylish furniture to pretty much everyone.
Then we get more specific with differentiation. These are the actual things, the features, the benefits that make you stand out. So for IKEA, that's their famous flat-pack design, it's those massive stores, the Swedish meatballs, that whole unmistakable minimalist vibe. These are the proof points that make their value proposition actually feel real. And boom, this slide maps it all out perfectly. According to consultant Sanjay Bhatia, this is the way to think about it. You start with your big picture value proposition, then you zero in on what makes you different, and finally, you use all of that to craft your laser-focused positioning. It's a logical flow. All right, so we've covered the what and the why. Now we get to the fun part, the how. Look, there's no single magic formula for positioning. It's kind of more like a playbook with a whole bunch of different strategies and models you can use depending on what you're trying to achieve.
I mean, there are a ton of strategies out there, but these are some of the heavy hitters. You can position yourself on price, be the cheapest, like Walmart. You can be the absolute pinnacle of quality, like Rolex. You can own convenience, like Amazon Prime. Or you can go right at your main rival, like the classic Pepsi versus Coke battle. Now, to actually bring these strategies to life, experts like brand consultant Magda Adamska use structured models. And these aren't just, academic theories. They are practical, hands-on tools that really help you define and then communicate your brand's core essence. So here we've got two popular models side by side. On one hand, you have the brand benefit ladder. It's very product-focused, building a case from a tangible feature all the way up to an emotional feeling. Then you have the bullseye model, which is more holistic. It starts with the brand's core identity and then works its way outwards. See, they're different tools for different jobs. But you have got to hear this quote from Magda Adamska because it is pure gold. The big takeaway here is so important. It's not about finding the most complicated academic model you can. It's about finding the one that your team, the people who have to use it every day, can actually understand and apply consistently. In this game, simplicity and clarity always win. Okay, so you've got all this great strategic thinking. How do you take that and boil it all down into one single powerful statement? That's what we're talking about next. You should think of this positioning statement as your brand's North Star. It should guide every single decision you make. And here it is. This is a tried and true template for building your own positioning statement. And it's so powerful because it forces you to be brutally specific. It walks you right through the key elements: who you're for, what they need, what makes you different, and why they should believe you.
Let's just break this down with a world-class example: Nike.
They're not for everybody. They're for athletes. They don't just sell shoes, they sell the desire to achieve your best performance. And they back it all up by partnering with the greatest athletes on the entire planet. See how every single piece of that statement is deliberate and powerful?
So what's the bottom line here? Why is brand positioning so incredibly important? Well, because when you get it right, it's not just about having some clever marketing. It's about driving real, tangible business results.
And hey, the numbers don't lie. Brands that have a really clear, consistent position see a serious boost in revenue. And why is that? It's simple. Because that consistency builds trust, and trust is the ultimate currency in business.
When you absolutely nail your positioning, the benefits are just huge. You escape that race to the bottom on price. You stop trying to be everything to everyone. You build this loyal tribe of fans who will stick with you pretty much no matter what. It's a total game changer.
Let's go back to Adidas and Nike for a second, because this is such a perfect illustration. They both sell sneakers, right? But they are selling completely different ideas. Adidas is all about culture, heritage, and lifestyle. Nike is about grit, victory, and pushing your limits. They're in the same market, but they honestly live in different worlds in our minds. Or think about the Cola Wars. Coke has always been about tradition, family, that warm, fuzzy feeling of togetherness. Pepsi crashed the party as the rebellious younger sibling. It's all about youth, energy, a fresh new choice. So when you grab one, you're not just choosing a drink, you're kind of choosing a side.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one question to really think about. What space does your brand own in your customer's mind? If you can't answer that in a single, clear sentence, then you've got some work to do. Because in today's marketplace, if you don't define your brand, someone else will.